Finnish president calls for global cooperation at Baku climate summit. Over 50% of Finns angry about political debates. Major fire destroys far-right cultural center Otsola in Hyvinkää. Finns party faces major challenges ahead of 2025 local elections. Finnish President Alexander Stubb addressed the opening ceremony of the United Nations Climate Conference in Baku, Azerbaijan, attended by nearly 200 global leaders. He emphasized that without cooperation, all efforts in sustainable development and technology would be meaningless. Finland is committed to increasing funding for poor nations through the Climate Fund, aiding small island nations in improving weather warning and forecasting systems. Stubb pointed out that major responsibility lies with G20 countries, the largest emitters, such as the United States and China. He urged them to set stronger targets to keep global temperature rise within 1.5 degrees Celsius. He also reiterated that nations must fulfill existing commitments and set new goals at the upcoming conference in Brazil. A key focus in Baku will be discussing climate financing aligned with current economic conditions. According to a study by E2, over 50% of Finns report feeling angered by political debates, a significant increase from last year. This sentiment is especially common among young women and supporters of parties like the Left Alliance and the Finns Party. Hannu-Pekka Ikäheimo, program director at Sitra, stated that the stark political polarization between the right and left in the current government is a contributing factor. Furthermore, Karina Jutila, research director at E2, highlighted societal changes such as welfare cuts, economic difficulties, and rising unemployment as amplifying dissatisfaction. Despite this, most citizens still trust society. However, experts warn that Finland must prevent growing polarization to avoid a situation similar to that of the United States. The study is based on a survey of over 1,000 residents. In the early hours of November 11, a major fire broke out at the headquarters of the far-right group Otsola in Hyvinkää, Finland. The building, located on Kornenkatu and covering an area of approximately 500 square meters, suffered severe damage and is now unusable. Police reported no natural causes for the fire, suspecting it to be an act of arson, although no suspects have been identified. Fortunately, there were no casualties, and the building was unoccupied at the time of the incident. Firefighters extinguished the blaze, and police are investigating the scene. Otsola is known as a cultural center for far-right groups in Finland and frequently hosts joint events at the location. Riikka Pori, chair of the Perussuomalaiset Party and Minister of Finance, acknowledged significant challenges for the party ahead of the local and regional elections in April 2025. Speaking at the unveiling of the party's mayoral candidate in Tampere, Pori emphasized, the government's implementation of a €9 billion budget adjustment package doesn't help increase support or make friends in the short term. A recent YLE survey showed Perussuomalaiset's support falling to 15.7%, lower than its parliamentary election results. While Pori refrained from predicting specific support levels, she stressed the importance of raising voter awareness. The party's mayoral candidate in Tampere, Joachim Vigilius, is preparing to face off against the Kokoomus SDP alliance, which dominates the area. Pori highlighted efforts to strengthen the party's local and regional presence while addressing low voter turnout. The local and regional elections will be held simultaneously on April 13, 2025. Finnish Interior Minister Mari Rantanen has expressed support for a public face covering ban, including the use of burqas by Muslim women. According to her, such a law is necessary for security reasons and to protect women's rights. Rantanen stressed, women have the right to show their faces and uphold Finland's open, egalitarian culture. Currently, countries like Switzerland, Denmark, and France have implemented similar bans. However, Rantanen acknowledged that this initiative is unlikely to progress during the current term, as it is not part of the government's agenda. She also voiced concerns about the rising youth violence, emphasizing the role of social media in shaping young people's perceptions and behaviors. She affirmed that everyone has the right to legal protection, regardless of gender or actions. The Finnish border guard is exploring the possibility of quickly mobilizing reservists in emergency situations. Recently, some reservists received letters requesting participation in training with shorter notice periods than usual, possibly just a few days instead of 3 months. According to Deputy Commander Heikki Artiainen, reservists may be assigned support roles such as traffic control but will not be involved in dangerous missions. Summons would only be issued upon the President's decision in cases necessary to ensure border security. Karpo Karlaernius, a reservist from Imatra, expressed his willingness to assist if called. He stated, "I think it's good that the reserve force is being remembered and prepared for any situation." This move stems from the new conscription law, which allows urgent summons to safeguard national security. According to Tampere police, 3 youth groups in the Harmala, Tesoma, and Harivanta areas have been identified as showing tendencies toward forming gangs. However, these groups have not yet reached the definition of street gangs, as seen in Helsinki. Detective Chief Inspector Maricus Antti-Laar explained that these groups primarily express regional identity through social media or community activities rather than competing for or claiming territories. Nonetheless, some group members have committed criminal acts, including drug offenses and robberies, but not in an organized manner. These groups are ethnically diverse, including natives, first and second generation immigrants, and Roma people. Police are concerned about the potential emergence of identifying symbols and territorial marking behaviors such as graffiti or signals in the future. Maricus Antti-Laar emphasized, "It's essential to prevent the development of gangs to ensure Tampere remains a safe and open environment for everyone." A Monday evening fire completely destroyed the 2,000 square meters warehouse of Kumeko Recycling in Pori, Finland. Police confirmed no suspicion of criminal activity in the incident. The massive blaze, which engulfed a plastic recycling storage facility, raised concerns about environmental pollution, particularly the risk of firefighting water flowing into Lake Laravanlampi, an important biodiversity area. However, thanks to an on-site firefighting water collection system, environmental damage was significantly minimized. According to environmental engineer Joni Mustonen, this outcome was due to response plans outlined in the facility's environmental permit. Firefighters faced difficulties extinguishing the fire due to the warehouse's double-layered metal structure, requiring machinery to dismantle sections to access internal hotspots. Additionally, toxic smoke from burning plastic temporarily worsened air quality, prompting authorities to advise residents to stay indoors and turn off ventilation systems. The firefighting water was collected and transported to a specialized treatment facility to ensure environmental safety. Police are investigating a Friday night brawl outside the Tampere arena following a hockey match between Tappara and Ilves, which Ilves won 4-0. The incident has been classified as a riot, involving at least 10 patrol cars. Police detained 9 individuals to prevent further disturbances and are analyzing surveillance footage to identify those involved. Jari Luoto, a senior investigator with the Sisä-Suomi police, noted that the classification of the offense might change as the investigation progresses. A passerby was accidentally injured during the altercation and required ambulance assistance. Initial reports also recorded multiple clashes near the Soren Bridge and directly outside the arena. The total number of participants and their direct connection to the match inside the arena remain unclear. Police stated that poor lighting conditions and scattered incidents across various locations complicate the investigation. An accident occurred in Isvarlar on Wednesday when a tracked military vehicle carrying 23 soldiers overturned after skidding off the road. All soldiers on board were injured, with 6 receiving treatment at Rovaniemi Central Hospital and the remaining 17 being cared for at Isvarlar Medical Center for minor injuries. The Finnish Transport and Communications Agency has launched an investigation into the incident, aiming to determine the cause of the accident and evaluate safety measures in training. Additionally, Lapland police are investigating the case for traffic and service safety violations. Regulations stipulate that this type of vehicle is only permitted to carry a maximum of 17 people. The overloading raises questions about accountability and compliance within the military. To provide psychological support, the unit organized counseling sessions for the soldiers involved. Training activities continue, but injured personnel are temporarily exempt. The incident underscores the importance of improving safety and strictly adhering to military regulations. According to a new survey, 25% of men under 35 in Finland believe that women can deserve violence. This group also exhibits more misogynistic attitudes compared to other age groups. Experts attribute this acceptance of violence to the rise of conservative values and feelings of exclusion. Social media has amplified discriminatory and violent behaviors, providing a platform for harmful content that influences young people. Matti Kupila, an expert at the Misocket organization, noted that social isolation and a lack of positive role models lead many young men to idealize violence. He emphasized the importance of fostering community engagement and creating safe spaces for connection. Nevertheless, most young men still oppose violence. Experts recommend increasing education and psychological support to change perceptions and behaviors. Violence against women is not just an individual issue but reflects broader challenges in modern Finnish society. Finland now has only about 280 mink farms, a sharp decline from 442 last year. The main reason is the avian flu outbreak, which forced 72 farms to cull 250,000 animals and temporarily cease operations. However, some farmers, such as Ersar Rantakangas, who once owned 75,000 animals, are striving to restore their operations on a smaller scale. He stated that this recovery process will take at least 3 years to reach stability. The government has allocated €51 million in compensation for affected farms, but accessing funding remains challenging. For many, the primary motivation is preserving family traditions and a belief in the future. According to FIFR, mink prices are recovering, with a 30% increase compared to last year. However, the market remains unstable. Simultaneously, a national petition calling for the end of mink farming is under consideration. Despite ongoing controversies, many experts believe the industry can survive if it overcomes its current challenges. Many vocational schools in Finland are working to reduce nicotine use among students and staff by implementing the nicotine-free vocational school model since 2018. Sarvan Vocational College was a pioneer in completely banning nicotine on campus. However, nicotine continues to appear in forms such as e-cigarettes and nicotine pouches, making the goal of elimination challenging. According to Siisa Karaki, a student care coordinator, the model raises awareness but is insufficient to compel students to quit nicotine. Furthermore, health surveys indicate that nicotine use has risen again since 2021, especially with vaping and nicotine pouches. Previously underrecognized, these products have now become a prominent issue in schools. Health organizations are advocating for legislative changes, calling for stricter nicotine content limits in products and a total ban in schools. Achieving long-term goals will require collective efforts from students, parents, and schools. Between 2022 and 2024, a Romanian criminal gang smuggled over 4 million narcotic pills into Finland via Estonia. Drugs such as Ksalol Loli and Rivotril Revo were transported by road from Romania to Tallinn and then ferried to Finland on cruise ships. Helsinki police and customs seized large quantities of these drugs, with the largest haul amounting to 406,000 pills. However, most of the drugs reached the black market in Finland. Investigations revealed that the gang used shell companies to purchase drugs from a legitimate factory in Serbia. The smugglers had no long-term ties to Finland and only temporarily resided in the country to manage the network. International operations involving Europol and Eurojust dismantled the gang in October 2024, arresting nearly 50 individuals and confiscating valuable assets. This was a significant victory for police and customs across multiple countries. A new mental health care model in Finland, called Therapies to the Frontline, has significantly reduced waiting times for psychological treatment. By adding just 20 psychological nurses and offering Saturday appointments, over 2,500 patients received timely support in 2024. The model focuses on early treatment through short-term therapies and self-care, easing the burden on intensive care systems. With technology such as the Therapy Navigator, patients are directed to the appropriate service from their first contact, avoiding long queues. In the Pirkanmaa region, the initiative has been most effectively implemented, contributing to a nationwide reduction in the waiting list from over 6,000 people in 2021 to about 3,500 in autumn 2024. While initial results are promising, experts believe further evaluation is needed to refine the model and expand it nationwide. This is seen as a significant advancement in mental health care in Finland. The Helsinki-based startup Untuvia has developed a safe and non-toxic method to clean old feathers, creating opportunities to recycle this valuable material. Only about 1% of feathers worldwide are recycled, despite their value ranging from €40 to over €200 per kilogram, with premium down duvets priced as high as €10,000. Untuvia's technology utilizes SCCO2, supercritical CO2, a waterless and chemical-free process, to remove grease and oils accumulated from human skin. According to Teemu Lametti, Untuvia's COO, this process allows recycled feathers to nearly match their original quality. The project has attracted interest from Zoutsen Finland, a long-established producer of down duvets, pillows, and clothing. Laboratory tests have shown that recycled feathers achieve high quality with a fill power rating of 600 to 700, meeting commercial product standards. Untuvia is currently seeking investments to build a production plant to meet increasing demand and support the trend toward sustainable consumption in Europe. According to banks and financial markets, the 12-month Euribor benchmark interest rate is expected to drop to a record low of nearly 2% by the summer of 2024. Currently, the 12-month Euribor rate has fallen to 2.475%, the lowest level in 2 years. The European Central Bank (ECB) reduced its key interest rate to 3.25% during its October meeting and is expected to make further cuts to stimulate the slowing economy. Pasi Kuoparmäki, chief economist at Danske Bank, predicts that the 12-month Euribor could reach 1.7% next year. However, Nordea suggests that the steepest decline may already have occurred, forecasting it to remain around 2.4% by the end of the year. While the prospect of lower interest rates is good news for borrowers, risks such as rapid inflation or geopolitical instability could alter this trend. For Finland, where most loans have floating interest rates, this decline presents an opportunity for households to improve their spending power. A Facebook post has provided job opportunities for 11 unemployed young people in Hyvinkää, Finland. The post, created by Ina Hutamo, a youth support worker, called on local businesses to offer trial work opportunities to young people. It received over 600 likes and 14 responses from businesses within a day, far surpassing the usual lack of responses to job application emails. Currently, 11 young people have started trial work programs in fields such as construction, engineering, marketing, and minor repair services. These experiences not only equip them with new skills but also open doors to long-term employment. Daniel Hananen, 24, one of the participants, shared, "I've learned many new things and feel I could continue working here." This post highlights the power of social media in connecting businesses and job seekers, particularly as young people often face difficulties finding employment due to a lack of experience. The purchasing power of Finnish citizens has significantly declined since 2021 due to the energy crisis and the war in Ukraine. The sharpest drop occurred at the beginning of 2023, with purchasing power down by 8.2% compared to pre-crisis levels. Economist Hannu Numero stated that, over the past 3 years, an average worker earning €3,700 per month has lost approximately €7,000 in purchasing power due to inflation and rising living costs. In this context, the Finnish Trade Union Federation (SAC) is calling for a 10% wage increase over the next 2 years to restore purchasing power to 2021 levels. If implemented, this adjustment could lead to recovery as early as next year. However, Numero cautioned that excessive wage increases could hurt Finland's competitiveness and export potential. Still, purchasing power is gradually improving as inflation decreases and interest rates drop, offering hope for workers.